Pastor Chris Oyakhilome becomes more Catholic than the Pope. Do you agree? Do you accept the view that Pastor Chris Oyakhilome has become more Catholic than the Pope? Recently, Pope Leo XIV has expressed displeasure over any attempt to portray the Iran war as religious war between Muslims and Christians, and he criticized those who use religious symbolism to describe the conflict as a modern-day crusade against Islam. The Pope values life, just as the Catholic Church protects and defends the dignity of human life. Therefore, as a caring father, he wouldn't keep quiet to allow people misunderstand and misinterpret war between 2 or 3 nations as purely religious war. In order to discourage such reasoning and understanding, the Pope said the Christian mission is often marred by the desire for dominance. The Christian mission is not known for quest to dominate, rather such is contrary to the path and example shown us by Jesus Christ, and the Pope urged all leaders to refrain from such kind of inflammatory comments. Without caring about the content and context of what the Pope has said, Pastor Chris Oyakhilome delved into the matter and argued that the Bible makes clear that God sometimes commands his people into battle, and that starting a war is not wrong. It's not inherently wrong. According to him, there are many wars God himself told his children to start. That starting a war is not the problem. The issue is whether it aligns with God's purpose. And he ended up saying that the Pope erred. While Pastor Chris Oyakhilome may be right to respond as he did, it is good to know that the Pope is the Pope of the Catholic Church, who understands the teachings of the Church. The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches about just war in paragraphs 2307 to 2317, and specifically outlines the conditions for a just war in paragraphs 2309. So the statement by Pope Leo XIV regarding God not answering prayers of those who wage war reflects the Church's preference for peace and non-violence. The words of the Pope should be seen from the perspective that war should only be considered when all other means have been exhausted. The Catechism of the Catholic Church outlines conditions for a just war. Number 1, legitimate authority. The one to declare war must be a legitimate authority, not private individuals. 2, there must be a real and grave reason or a just cause before such a war is declared, such as defense against aggression or rectification of grave injustice. 3, there should be right intention. The goal must be to advance good or avoid evil, not vengeance or conquest. 4, every other peaceful approach or alternative must have been exhausted first, and when they fail, war could become the last resort. Number 5, proportionality principle. The expected good that will come from the war must outweigh or be more than the harm that the war may cause. Number 6, there must be a reasonable hope of success. There must be a certain hope of success that the war won't be an effort in futility. So the statement of Pope Leo XIV simply followed the teachings of his predecessors. Pope Francis consistently emphasized the importance of non-violence and peaceful resolution of conflicts. In his 2017 World Day of Peace message, Pope Francis wrote, "The pursuit of peace requires us to abandon a mindset that sees our brothers and sisters as enemies to be fought and defeated." This aligns with Pope Leo XIV's statement and reinforces the Church's commitment to promoting peace and avoiding war whenever possible. The reason why the Pope has to speak up is that all wars, even the just ones, cause immense suffering and destruction. Therefore, in accordance with the statements of Pope Leo XIV, there is need to prioritize peace and avoid war whenever possible. It's not just about the statement made by Pope Leo XIV that makes Pastor Chris Oyakhilome sound as if he has become more Catholic than the Pope. Listen to what he said about the Catholic doctrine of transubstantiation. He is now the one affirming and confirming the teaching of the Catholic Church. Listen to him. And after listening to him, be able to tell us whether Pastor Chris Oyakhilome has become more Catholic than the Pope.
So the transubstantiation that the Roman Catholic states about the communion is actually true. In 1 Corinthians Corinthians, chapter 10, it says from verse 16, the cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The cup of blessing which we bless. He says, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? Not the symbol. The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ? So when you take that bread, understand that that is the body of Christ. You're not just taking the symbol. By the Spirit, it is transubstantiated. And when you're eating it, in the mind of God, it is the body of Christ.
Having listened to this point, you are now in a better position to tell us whether Pastor Chris has become more Catholic than the Pope or not, whether his views are absolutely correct, whether he has misunderstood the teaching of the Catholic Church. Whichever way, your comments should be on the comment section. Respectfully given. God bless you.